Hey, I'm Emma, I'm 31 and I live in Auckland, New Zealand. And this year I've decided no more excuses, I'm starting my YouTube channel. And to do that, I've decided to collate a whole bunch of clips from my New York trip that I did back in April 2025. It's now January 2026. So it's been a really cool way to sort of reflect on the year that's been and create a sort of a full-length video for me to be able to watch back should I ever decide to reminisce on the trip that was. I stayed in Noho, which is north of Houston Street. You may have heard of Soho, basically just north of that. Make sure you call it Houston, not Houston, should you ever decide to go, because that's how the locals say it. I stayed in a sort of hostel hotel combo called NowNow, which was great as a single traveler. My only comment would be is that the rooms were rooms in a sense. You had 4 walls, but it was sort of like a cubicle. So there was no ceiling. So you couldn't talk in your room, couldn't use your phone. If you did, you had to use your AirPods, which meant you heard all the snoring, all the doors closing and opening, everything. So there was a general rule of thumb in there that you couldn't speak, which if you know me well enough, you know I love a yarn. But to be honest, it was great just to get out of my room. And the goal for this trip wasn't necessarily to relax. It was to explore absolutely everything I've had on my list and pinned on my Google Maps. Definitely had a lot of pins. Borderline obsession. For context, New Zealand is about 16-hour flight away. It's a direct flight, but it's a long one. It's a doozy. And I was very, very lucky enough to be sat next to, just out of complete coincidence, a girl who we had mutual friends. New Zealand is small. And we decided to just be best buds since that flight. I also reached out to one of my favorite New York vloggers, Chelsea. She's a 30-something living in New York, doing her thing with her 2 cats. I figured, why not? So I flicked her a message and said, hey, little me from New Zealand, do you mind grabbing a coffee? And she took time out of her day to do that, and it was really, really great. So Chelsea, thanks for the time. I appreciate that so much. It was awesome to meet you. Enjoy these clips. I really hope this gives you a flavour of what I'm wanting to create here on this channel. I'll be back with another one in no time at all. I can't speak in my room or on the whole entire floor, so it's pretty silent. It's pretty silent, which I'm sure you can imagine I love. Can't even chat to myself. And I've just gotten up. It was like 7:30 here, but I seem to I'm probably gonna jinx today if I say that, but I seem to be okay. Just gotten up, having a water, and I just ordered a nice juice and a coffee. And yeah, that's the update. Okay, finally feel human now that I have my coffee. But I'm off to go find a bagel. Got my bagel. I just got an avocado bagel, and I went for a stroll, and I found this park to eat my bagel in, and nobody is wearing a singlet like me. Everybody's all rubbed up. Cool. From where I'm staying in Noho, and I got off on 77th Street, and now I'm just walking alongside Central Park, and I'm about to go to MoMA. I was pretty chronic at getting the Met and MoMA mixed up, but honestly the Met was such a beautiful way to spend a day, looking through all the various different rooms, through all of the classic art, sculptures, paintings, all the ornate frames. It was really, really cool. These 2 artworks in particular made me giggle. I then had a walk all the way back and stopped into Reformation. Their changing room and service was so different to anything New Zealand. And I bought this little red dress. I was about to give you a live update in that stoop, and then I got too camera shy in front of everybody. But anyway, I have recharged literally from a phone perspective and mentally from looking at way too many things in the museums. Now I'm off to go find this delicatessen that I have pinned as one of my many, many, many pins on my map. I'd seen Katz from somebody feed Phil on Netflix and knew it was an absolute must-do. That was probably the biggest sandwich I've had in my entire life. I feel kind of ill, but it was really, really yum. It was just massive and so chaotic in there. There was a line for each delicatessen, and you had this little clip or ticket that they give you, and then they cross off what you order, and then there's people being is that Swiss cheese? I don't like Swiss cheese in my sandwich, and yelling stuff, and it was really intense, but it was really good. And I'm probably going to comb her out when I sleep tonight because that was so much meat. dug out my trench coat and a way warmer outfit to go and hunt down MoMA since it's freezing. So I might as well do that today. Unlike the Met, MoMA was modern art, and it was great spending a few hours in there, but as you can see in these clips, it was packed with people. 1 squillion people in the building. It was really cool, but just way too many people. I don't know, it was interesting. I saw a couple of like super famous paintings like Starry Night and a whole bunch, and they were like really like physically just really small. And not the word underwhelming, but they don't talk really close to me. Not the word underwhelming, but certainly just like, oh, okay, cool. And like there was like 1,000 people all huddled around one single painting, and I was like, I'm not waiting in line for that. No offense. I came in out of the cold, and because I had no cutlery to eat my salad, and I just ate that. It was huge. Everything here is huge, food-wise. And just chilling for a bit, because my room is pretty dark. I'm gonna head back up there shortly and just like decompress for a little wee while. I just realised this will look like the same Deli because I'm wearing the same hat. I'll just leave that behind. Just picked up a coffee. Just go get a bake. Just had that started every other day. The other 2 days that I've been here since. The Highline walk through Chelsea to Hudson Yards was recommended to me by so many of my friends. It was approximately half an hour if you walked at a leisurely pace and looked at all of the views. I then had a nosy through the Hudson Yards Mall, which was colossal. Made it to Bryant Park after exploring that massive lawn, and this place is lawn goals. After perving at the perfectly green lawn, I then went to the museum that was near Bryant Park and checked out this Pooh Bear exhibition with the OG piglet. Then I made my way back to Lower Manhattan and walked through Washington Square Park and met up with Chelsea for a chat and a coffee, which was really lovely, and it was great to spend some time with her before walking all the way back home for a recharge and a reset before venturing out for dinner. Just got changed and now I'm going to shoot out to go find some food. I'm thinking Chinatown, so I'm going to shoot downtown on the bus. I feel like this has turned into my update spot. So this evening I have to catch up with Chelsea, and which is the girl from YouTube. I then went to see if I could go on the edge, or go to the edge, in this massive tower. There was the hugest line known to mankind, so I have flagged that, and I'll do that next week because I didn't realize you need to book tickets. Went to the 9/11 monument, and it was actually a very like powerful statement. And then after that, I went all the way down to like Battery Park, which is like the very end of the island, so I could try and see Statue of Liberty, but it was all boarded off. I could see at the very, very tip of it if I stood on a park bench. And then on the way home, I just got myself like a acai bowl off to go recharge and go to sleep. There's so many people on the street. Had a half-hour powwow nap because I was exhausted. I didn't sleep very well last night. Now I'm back off to the subway, and then I'm off to the Hugh Jackman show in the Radio City Hall. Clearly still half asleep, but I'll take some videos because it's pretty cool. On the way to my show that evening, I made sure I went through Grand Central Station to have a look. I then headed to Radio City Hall to watch the Hugh Jackman show, and this show was a bit more of a big ticket item for me in terms of like activities. Hugh is made for the stage. He loved it. There was such a broad array of performances, and he really leaned into his passion for Broadway, and it was such an awesome experience. This morning it's me and my bike taking on Central Park. Just doing the one giant loop around the edge of the park, and then I don't know how long that'll take, but that'll get me to a snack, of course. I haven't actually had my coffee or bagel this morning, so I'll need to sort that. Then the rest of the plan is to then go down to the bottom of Manhattan Island, get on a ferry to Staten Island, and hopefully catch a decent glimpse of Statue of Liberty. And then I've booked tickets to the Edge, which is the very top of that tower I couldn't do the other day, so I'm going to do like a sunset view from the Edge platform, which will be super awesome. Oh my god, I cannot do that. I've noticed if you ask for a double shot coffee, they just make it twice as big, so that just waters down the shot. The Italian guy who, I rented a bike off because the Citi Bike app didn't work with the New Zealand number. At the end of it, I handed it back and he goes, "I divorced today, I'm available tomorrow for you." Cool. Do not be fooled by the lack of people in that photo. There was about 50 bajillion people on the same deck, but the views are cool. I ended up purchasing the VIP slash, what does it say? Express admission, can't read. The slightly more expensive but higher whatever ticket, and it was definitely worth it. I think it was only $20 more, and when I arrived the sunset was starting, and then I looked at the queue and I was like, so glad I have this. And then a guy with a headpiece just pushed in front of everybody for me and then brought me right at the top. So worth it. I caved and got something from Starbucks. It wasn't a coffee, some blackberry lemon thing, and it was very, very sweet. But I am in the train station, about to get on my train to Long Island to go see my friend, and then we're going to spend a day in the Hamptons tomorrow, which is really cool. Her family invited me around for Sunday Easter dinner for tonight, which is unbelievably nice. So yeah, that's some afternoon. Blue is way cuter. We're in East Hampton shopping in the Ralph shop, and I'm in my happy place. Amy said not so much the coloured section, but the classic section back there. I'd wear everything. So I've told myself to sit down and I won't buy anything while Alaire does buy things. And I'm happy. I'm living through her.
I'm gonna try this one on, and I think this is the one I end up getting.
I like that colourway better. Excuse the appearance, I've just gotten up. I've decided this coffee is the best, and it's close, so I'm going to that. And instead of a bagel this morning, I decided to go to Katz logo. I'll then pick up overpriced for my yogurt, basically. These little cluster things. The girl on the back, her name was M, so yep. A2 yogurt. And I was trying to find a tub that wasn't minuscule, or wasn't because I don't have a fridge, so I'm gonna have to commit to eating that whole thing. Blueberries, and then a little like tube of other stuff to squeeze. Unscented Castile Basto. It does say for babies. So that's my morning, and I'm down in the like communal lounge, i.e. basement thing, because I can't talk in my room, and because I just wanted, you know. This morning I walked over the Brooklyn Bridge and did a little bit of exploring around here, which is Dumbo, which had views to both the Brooklyn and the Manhattan Bridge. And now I'm wandering over to this place that I pinned that has really good falafel for lunch. Sat in the local park and enjoyed my lunch before heading over to Brooklyn Museum for a few hours and then exploring the botanical gardens that were right behind there. I then met up with my friend who lives in Brooklyn and we went to 3 of his favourite pizza places, including a place that did deep dish pizza. After all of that pizza, we decided to go for a wander along Domino Park's waterfront and watch the sunset go down near the bridges. It was a really lovely way to spend the evening. Probably my last update before I jump on the plane, but this morning I explored Town Square, did shopping around there, and then went over to Russ and Daughter's, their Hudson Yards shop. Got another one of my favourite bagels, but this time I got pastrami cured salmon. Amazing. Hope you enjoyed that video of me exploring New York. Really tried to sort of tie them together as much as possible, given they were such fragmented clips, but hopefully they gave you an overall flavour of what my trip was like. Thank you to all my friends over there who I met up with, both brand new or old time friends that took time out of their day to, you know, educate me on all things New York. Catch you in the next vlog, and I really hope you have an awesome day. See ya!